there was a former Univision anchor, Maria Elena Salinas, who was on CNN last night, and she's like, well, California was part of Mexico, or the Southwest was part of Mexico, or the Southwest is Mexico, I believe she said. I think we have that clip. Let's play it.
I'm from LA. I was born in LA. That's where my roots are. That's where I started my career. It is almost 50% Hispanic. Remember that California was part of Mexico. All of the Southwest is Mexico. So the roots are really deep in that region. And what they're saying is, no, not in our community. Because when they're coming in, even though there's second, third, fourth, fifth generation Latinos that live there, and Mexican Americans that live there, some of them might be their family members. The people that they're going after, it's personal for them because they're going after their cousin and their uncle and their parents. And how does that make us safe?
Now, you know what pisses me off, Chad, is, you had the Mexican-American War. It was over a border dispute was, I believe, how it started. And when the U.S. won, they won and they captured Mexico City. They negotiated, but they let Mexico keep Mexico City. And now I'm like, you know what? We should have taken it. Screw you guys. In hindsight.
Listen, I'd be hard pressed not to have a preemptive strike. We already have transnational narco terrorists that are right there on our border. Fentanyl's pouring across like it's a Black Friday sale at the Walgreens. I mean, at what point in time do we say, no, why don't we take some of your land? Look, these are coordinated tantrums thrown by people who have no loyalty to this country, no respect for our laws, no intention of assimilating. It is pure tribalism. And you know who gets the bill? Well, somebody's funding this crap because I think it's probably about 70% Americans that are paid agitators, and maybe 30% are engaged in this that are here actually undocumented. That's the word they want us to use. And then we're going to pay for all the damn cleanup. So we got schools that are overcrowded, hospitals are full, neighborhoods aren't safe, and God forbid you speak up about it because you're going to be labeled a bigot faster than they can chant no borders, no nations. And we got veterans that are sleeping in the street, single moms working 2 jobs to put food on the table, farmers being crushed by regulation. I've already talked about the drug flow. And let me be blunt. If you cross into this country illegally and then riot in the streets demanding rights you were never granted, you should be on the first plane back. And that's what we're saying here. Yep. No court date, no free phone, no sanctuary, no debit card, just a one-way ticket to whatever failed state you came from. Get the F out of the country. Yeah. You don't get to break into my house and then demand I change the furniture around. We are a nation of laws. You're a conquered people. I'm sorry you came from a shithole. Go home. You know what? You're not even they're not even rioting or protesting. They're looting stores. Take your Air Jordans, put them on your feet, and walk the fuck back to Guatemala. That's the way I feel about it. And if our leaders aren't going to protect our sovereignty, these failed progressive policies on the part of all of these people like Gavin Newsom and these other jackasses out there that are never held accountable for their weird ideas that come up, and they got all these, they're not interested in protecting your rights or your sovereignty or citizenship. And, they need to be reminded who they work for. Yeah, I think that Gavin Newsom, I think Tom Homan should go arrest his ass.
I agree.
And the reason I do is because, one, not only has he hindered law enforcement, but he's promoted the violence. The rhetoric of people like Maxine Waters, I'm here on congressional authority. I want to see this illegal up here, and you're going to shut the door on me. Enough's enough, man. The American people are tired of funding their own destruction.
Yeah. Stephen has an interesting opinion on, because I agree with you. I tend to agree with you. I think that Gavin should
You still cheating on me with that dude?
Gavin should be arrested. Steven says no. Steven, come in.
Sorry, I was going to say that. No, Gavin Newsom wants nothing more than to be arrested.
Yeah, that's what he wants.
And that's why 100%
what he wants.
Absolutely
Steven.
wants it.
Right. Okay. So I agree with you, but I just think at this point it's like, okay, cool. What percentage of people are going to be like on his side on this one? I just don't think it's going to be the majority of people.
Well, Sarah and I, you and I have talked about this a lot. There's a lot of good people in California.
Yes.
They're there. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good conservatives out there. California was a red state. It's been a great economy. They're being ruled by places that sound like they belong in Mexico, like San Diego and, San Francisco and Los Angeles and Sacramento and Oakland. I think that's Spanish Ebonics. But either way, let them have it back. If they want that to go back to Mexico, let them have it back. They can have New Mexico, too, and most of southern Arizona, as far as I'm concerned. When we're building a wall on the 1,221 miles on the south of Texas between us and Mexico, I say we continue that wall on around and just let them have a bunch of stuff back. Build the wall all the way up. They can have Portland, they can have Seattle, and every damn thing else.
I
don't
love
want
it.
it anymore. Let them burn it. And here's the thing. Can I point this out before we go, Sarah?
Yeah.
You know, just a couple of months ago, Pacific Palisades was on fire and they were trying to figure out who the arsonists were. And now you got these people standing in the streets on camera being praised for lighting fires.
That's a great point.
Make it make sense.
That's a really great point. I mean, the thing is, though, is like, they're daring him to do something, Donald Trump, they're daring him to do something, but it's like, what else is he supposed to do? I mean, I guess, again, you say a lot of good people live in California. I agree with you. But I do, part of me is like, if they want to burn their whole city, maybe we should just let them, except that then they would ask for federal dollars to rebuild. And then it's like, all right, well, as long as we can say no because you did it to yourself, I'm kind of like, F around, find out, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to earlier. You have these billionaires that are paying these agitators to go out there and create this mess, but then the taxpayers are going to have to pay to build it back up. And no, I think California should be cut off from the federal funds. Look, you can't go in there federally and replace Gavin Newsom because he's a failed dictator and turn it into a failed state. But at the same time, you got to quit funding this stuff as well because we're funding our own destruction. And we're going to turn around and go, what happened to the biggest economy in the country, in the state of California, when we literally turned it over to people that invaded us and want no interest in assimilating and being a part of what we call America?
None.